this race.
Monster run off turn 2.
Can't get it to the high side. Here he comes. There he goes. Oh, no, Kansas saves, and here they come to the line.
I'm a fortune teller who sees the future, and I see it now.
I'm expecting something with Ferrari this weekend, and he ended up at Hendrick somehow.
Oh, God. No, please. Oh, God. I don't like that thought.
Driving to 5.
I can see the goosebumps that just hit Jacob just now.
Carson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Coming to the Line. My name is Jacob Barker, and I am joined once again by Mason Wood. Mason, how are we doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Ready to get into the show. Obviously had some good racing, had an elimination race. And for the love of God, somebody else won an F1 race. Let's all just take a moment here. Just appreciate what happened on Sunday. Thank you.
Right. Before we really get into anything too much, this is being recorded on a Monday. I wanted to start this out. Yesterday, not only the NASCAR world, but the motorsports world lost a tremendous figure by the name of Sherry Pollux. She did so much, not only for the sport, but for awareness of cancer, specifically ovarian cancer. She passed away very suddenly early Sunday morning, and it's tragic. It's extremely tragic. She was 44 years old, and I've gotten to meet her. I have her autograph on a car, and she was a wonderful person to just talk to get to know, and it's heartbreaking to hear the news that we heard Sunday morning.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate, and she's been such a great asset to the sport and just to life in general, and just helping people. She's, as you said, a tremendous person in her work, just all around the country and all around the world. So, rest in peace to Sherry Pollux, and all prayers and condolences to Martin Truex Jr., his family, and everybody that was involved and related with Sherry Pollux. All condolences to them.
Like I said, it's terrible. We hope that she can rest in peace, and hope that everybody that has known her, Martin Truex Jr. and her family, can find some closure in these next coming days. But let's move on to something positive. We will always remember Sherry. We always love her. But let's get onto some positive things for right now. Let's talk about some F1 for right now. Why don't we?
Yeah, quite an interesting race this weekend. We saw what many would probably argue the most exciting race of the year, and that, as something that you pointed out before we started the show, it wasn't just because of the fact that we didn't see Max, on the podium. A lot of that just attributed to some of the late race drama, obviously, what was going on with George there, and a lot of different things happening throughout the race that just made it one of the most memorable races of 2023 for sure.
100%. And it was kind of an odd race for a while, just with the different tire strategies. But once it got good, it was fun to watch. 4 cars battling for the lead, the last 10 laps or so, all on different strategies. You had Sainz with Ferrari, Lando with McLaren, and then you had both Mercedes with Lewis and George, all duking it out on the last 10 laps. And then George stuffs it into the wall.
And you know what, man? You got to feel for George, because there's a lot of pressure in that situation, because it's the first time that all of these guys have had an opportunity. And you don't know, with the way this season's gone, you don't know when the next opportunity is going to come. It's been so rare that the pressure's on. You want an opportunity, and George is pushing hard. Obviously, just misses the corner and runs it right into the barrier. And as much as I hate it for George, another Lewis podium, I'll take it. I'll take it all day.
George's expense, George's expense comes at Lewis's gain. It's kind of a double-edged sword for Mercedes. But you know what? That's called racing. Only 3 drivers can be on the podium. That's why it's called a podium for an obvious reason. But
hey, like I said, Lewis is closing in on Sergio.
I know. That's the battle we need to be watching. We've been saying it all season. P3 and P2 for the points. Awesome battle. But, man, that was a great battle. Like I said yesterday, the closing laps. Ferrari gets their first win of the season. Carlos Sainz gets his first win of the season. His second win of his career. His first since Silverstone last year. And finally, Lando gets another P2 finish. Great day for him and McLaren.
Yeah, a finish that they definitely were hoping to replicate because we've seen them earlier in the year, up there. And definitely, what we want to see out of Lando if you're a Lando Norris fan. And this time, right, both times he was up on the podium, finished third. This time, he's up in second. Or was he in second both times? He was in second both times. So
I think he was
consistently
second
finishing
both
second.
times.
Yeah, consistently finishing second. I think the question is going to be when does he break through and capture a victory? Does it happen this season? That's the question. But Lando's gonna, he's looking good. He's looking good. I think that he's really come on strong since I would say the start of July. He's really kind of come on strong and proven that he can get some podium finishes. And I think everybody's just waiting for that victory this year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what not only him and McLaren, but him and Piastri can do before the season wraps up. And if Red Bull kind of falls off the wagon a little bit, I don't think they will, not by much, because Max has basically got this championship locked up. Since he didn't have an opportunity to lock it up this week, I'm pretty sure he will do it next week, but we will get to that in just a minute. But who do you think had the most impressive drive out of all the drivers on Sunday in Singapore?
I really like the drive we saw out of Lando and I would love to give Oscar his points, but obviously I have felt him and Lando have been so far apart, and I think Lando just continues to step above and to be the leader there for McLaren that they need. And so, really, I think a shout out to him, but I also want to give a big shout out to Liam Lawson, who was in the top 10 as well for AlphaTauri. Great run there. Got 2 points out of it for them, which is a lot more points than the previous driver in that seat. So,
Yeesh. Not only the first one, but the second one as well. No disrespect to Daniel Ricciardo, but he only lasted 1 race in that seat. But I do think he's going to come back. I do think he'll come back in that seat.
I think Ricciardo will come back he'll get the points. He'll get some points. It's mainly the driver that I will not name that was before that. That's rough year. But either way, Liam Lawson, top 10. What else can you say? Good run for them in AlphaTauri, a run that I definitely think that they'll be happy about, and one that they'll look back on come season's end for sure.
Very much so. And actually 2 things happen in qualifying that we really don't see that often nowadays. Both Red Bull cars failed to make Q3, and Lance Stroll with a huge wreck in qualifying. But let's start with Red Bull. Very, very unexpected. Just all of a sudden, Liam Lawson. How much did he beat Max by? It was not that much. It was like 4 or 5 1,000ths of a second. He beat Max into Q3.
Yeah, no, and just I don't think anybody expected it. Right here from Red Bull, and who knows? Maybe there's some people at some point Red Bull was going to fault and not have their perfect weekend. It was going to happen at some point. Obviously, it happened here, and I think every F1 fan will take it.
I love it. And speaking of every F1 fan, special shout out to one of our co-members, Paulina. She was on the show couple months ago, late June, early July. She was at the Singapore Grand Prix.
Absolutely fantastic event to go to. I'm super jealous. I'm excited to hear from her about that. So hopefully we can have her on, because I would love to hear not only about the the race and the environment of the race and everything, but also I would love to hear about the country of Singapore. I think it'd be or not the country of Singapore. Like Singapore's a city, but you get my right.
Yeah,
Am I tripping
point
here?
No,
You get
you're
my point.
fine.
Okay.
You're fine. Yeah,
I was like, I'm pretty sure Singapore is a country. It is a country. I'm stupid. Can we cut this part so I don't look that dumb? I'm so sorry. I always confuse Singapore with China, right? Because like it
how
sounds
do
like
you confuse Singapore with China? I'm legit curious on that.
I don't know, man.
I love that. But either way, special shout out to Paulina. Obviously, would love to have her on in the near future to talk about the experience she had in Singapore and at the race. So hopefully we get to pick her brain about that in the future. But the next F1 race, one of my personal favorites, even though it starts at 1 in the morning here, Japan. If you remember correctly, Japan, it was basically a complete washout last year, but they still managed to get most of it in. Wait, did they get it in? They got most of it in, but they still awarded full points for some stupid reason. Either way, do you think that Max clinches this weekend?
I think it gets done. I think it's something that we talked about. We talked about it multiple weeks ago, multiple episodes ago, and we discussed when do we think it finally happens, and I feel like this week might be the week for it. So, not going to be surprised whatsoever if this is the week that he gets it done, and especially after the week that they had this week, I imagine he's going to bounce back strong. So, pencil in Max the champion after Suzuka here.
Yeah, he's just going to be on the rails this weekend. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, no, he's going to be solid, and I'm trying to look it up if it's going to rain in the racetrack.
Good question.
Because that might change things as well. Looking like we're going to be clear. Yeah, looking like it's not going to be too bad. Some rain on Friday that will have an effect, but mostly going to be clear and 84 degrees, so not going to be too bad whatsoever for the race.
It looks beautiful. Yeah, it's been really nice the past couple of days here. Been getting really down into the high 40s at night, which is kind of a shock to the system. When I woke up this morning, the house was cool. My grandparents had the windows open, so it kind of woke me up all of a sudden.
Hey, I am beyond jealous. It is currently 99 degrees here right now. So.
Nice. I love that. I've got a couple friends who live out at Arizona. I'm like, I'm not jealous of you guys. But either way, who are we thinking for this weekend's podium in Japan?
Ooh, that's a great question. I really, like I said, Max bounces back. Max gets P1. And you know what? Okay. I think this Lewis going after Checo for second, I think it continues. Lewis, second place. And then, shoot, man. Shoot. Who do I want in third? You know what? I give Fernando third. Give me Fernando in third.
Fernando third.
I like that podium. I think that, yeah. And I think that, like I said, I think Hamilton continues to close up that gap. Realistically, guys, do I think it happens? No, but
no.
I'd love for it.
That's fair. Because Alonso did have a pretty rough weekend this weekend. Did not score points, if I'm correct. Let me double check the results. Yeah, Alonso finished 15th. He was the first car that did not have a DNF this weekend. So, Alonso P15
need to bounce back, and a couple veterans that are very capable of doing so.
So I agree with you that Max is going to win this weekend. But I think Lando is going to continue his podium P2 streak. Well, streak. It's going to start again this weekend. So I think Lando is P2, and then Hamilton P3.
Okay.
So that is
Okay,
my
I like
podium. So, going to be a unique weekend this weekend. Maybe another championship clinching weekend in Suzuka this weekend. We shall see. Wouldn't be shocked at all. But that's why we watch racing. That's what I always say. So, should be interesting. It is going to be starting on ESPN, 1 a.m. local time, Eastern. I will be half asleep by the time that starts.
Hey, I will be wide awake. It'll be the end of the college football night. That's usually me watching the final game, which I believe there's got to be what time is the Oregon Colorado game? Because if that's late night, because I was up till almost midnight watching that's at 12:30. Okay, I was up till midnight watching the Colorado game. I'm sure I'll be up till midnight watching college football, and I'll tune into the F1 race and do dual screen to finish out the night.
All right. Well, before we transition to IndyCar, I got some breaking news for you. Tony Stewart collects his second national event wallet and takes over the top alcohol dragster points lead for the NHRA with the win this today, actually. So there you go. Smoke is on top for right now in the points.
Heck yeah, he's been really good over there. So proud of him and what he's been able to accomplish, and nice to see him in another form of motorsports just be successful. So,
well, there you go. Hopefully, hey, maybe he can clinch it out. You never know.